Right, I'm just going to adjust that a little bit. How do I look when I see here? Well, yeah, I just got it rigged up. It fell. It wasn't shooting at first, so I'm just adjusting. I can slouch. That's what I'll do. So I'll have a cue here to go. Something I've been meaning to do for a while. It's one of my favorite. I once had the Norton anthology, which I should really get again because I like the collection, including a bit of Sir Philip Sidney. I'm having trouble finding. It's one of the songs of from Arcadia. I'll find it, but it just takes a lot of finding. So I'll get to read some Blake, maybe two, and maybe some Blake I've never read out loud before. This one I know well. This is Gerald Manley Hopkins. And yeah, Catholic mystic, kind of 19th century. It's funny because that again is what William Everson is, and I have that connection to him. But also to this strikes me really strongly. When I first read it, even just the power of the language, which is also like, it's probably more Norse influence than classical influence, you know? There is rhyme within it, but it's of the Norse type with the alliteration and stuff. So take a breath. I'll just do it. I hope you can see it because I can't see you. So that's a good thing. That nature is a Heraclitean fire and of the comfort of the resurrection. Cloud puffball, torn tufts, tossed pillows, flaunt forth and Chevy on an air, built thoroughfare, heaven roisters and gay gangs, they throng, they glitter in marches, down rough cast, down dazzling whitewash, wherever an elm arches. Shiv lights and shadow tackle and long lashes, lance, lace, and pear. Delightfully the bright wind boisterous, ropes, wrestles, beats earth bare, of yester tempest creases, in pool and rut peel parches, squandering ooze to squeeze dough, crust, dust, stenches, starches, squadron masks and man marks. Treadmire toil there, foot fretted in it, million fueled, nature's bonfire burns on. But quenched her bonniest years to her, as clear as sylvan spark, man, how fast his fire did, and how his mark on mind is gone. Both are in an unfathomable, all are in as an enormous dark, drowned. Oh, pity and indignation. Man shape that shone, sheer off, disseveral a star. Death blots black out, nor mark is any of him at all so stark. But fatness blurs and time beats level. Enough! The resurrection. A heart's clarion. Away grief's gasping, joyless days dejection. Across my foundering deck shone a beacon, an eternal beam. Flesh fade, and mortal trash fall to the residuary worm. World fire leave but ash. In a flash, at a trumpet crash, I am at once, all at once, what Christ is, since he was what I am, and this jack, joke, poor potsherd, patch, matchwood, immortal diamond, is immortal diamond. Yeah, that's probably one of the most powerful of the English late Romantic poems that I know of, actually, and poets. So I've often I use this sometimes, and I paraphrase it in one of my own poems. I might as well do it. It's called The Poison Tree. I won't talk about a friend that introduced me to it. It's a long story with anybody you talk about, of course. I haven't really read a lot of Blake, but I did have this friend. He was doing his BA major, and this guy, was he doing an MA maybe? Anyways, he had Poison Tree. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow. And I watered it in tears, night and fears, mourning with my tears. I stunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew, both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. Nasty. I'm not that bad of a Scorpio, I'll say that much. While I get that kind of thing, why did I do my favorite? It's Wonder It by me. After I say this bit of Yeats, I just want to do it fresh. There it is. The Song of Wandering Aengus. It's for my Irish bros. Got a bunch of bros in Ireland. Actually, a couple I lived, husband and wife, and in Newfoundland and St. John's, and my buddies from Cambodia. The Song of Wandering Aengus. I went out to the hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand that hooked a berry to a thread, and white moths were on the wing, and moth-like stars were flickering out. I hooked that berry in a stream and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor. Someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name and ran and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she has gone, and kiss her lips, and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass and pluck till time and times are done. The silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. I love that thing. Might as well do another one. Just came to the title. There's a lot of other Blake that was in. I had also the complete Blakes. I had the complete Pushkin and books. Oh, never mind what happened to my books. It was all my trying to leave everything behind, which I still try to do. But just because I'm on the Viz mode. Oh yeah, I know what else I got to read. Just a minute. There it is. I just like the way this one ends, but I do know this one. The Mareotic Lakes in Egypt, which is a long story about what it is. It figures also in not Fafnir, Durrell, the Alexandria Quartet. Important there. Swear by what the sages spoke round the Mareotic Lake, that the witch of Atlas knew, spoke, set the cocks a crow. Swear by those horsemen, by those women, complexion and form proves superhuman, that pale, long-visaged company that heirs in immortality, completeness of their passion won. Now they ride the wintry dawn when Ben Bulben sets the scene. Here's the gist of what they mean. Many times man lives and dies between his two eternities, that of race and that of soul. In ancient Ireland knew it all. Whether man dies in his bed or the rifle knocks him dead, a brief parting from those dear is the worst man has to fear. Though grave diggers toil as long, sharp their spades, their muscle strong, they but thrust their buried men back in the human mind again. You, that Mitchell's prayer have heard, send war in our time, O Lord! Know that when all words are said, and that if man is fighting mad, something drops from eyes long blind. He completes his partial mind, for an instant stands at ease, laughs out loud, his heart at peace. Even the wisest man grows tense with some sort of violence before he can accomplish fate, know his work, or choose his mate. Poet and sculptor do the work, nor let the modish painter shirk what his great forefathers did. Bring the soul of man to God, make him feel the cradles right. Measurement began our might, forms a stark Egyptian thought, forms a gentler Phidias wrought. Michelangelo left a proof on the Sistine Chapel roof, where but half awakened Adam can disturb globe-trotting Madame till her bowels are in heat. Proofs that there's a purpose set before the secret working mind, profane perfection of mankind. Quattrocento put in paint on backgrounds for a god or saint. Gardens where a soul's at ease, where everything that meets the eye, flowers and grass and cloudless sky, resemble forms that are or seem what sleepers awake and yet still dream, and when it's vanished still declare, with only bed, and bedstead there, that heavens had opened. Gyres run on. When that greater dream had gone, Calvert and Wilson, Blake and Claude prepare a rest for the people of God. Palmer's phrase, but after that, confusion fell upon our thought. Irish poets, learn your trade. Sing whatever is well made. Scorning the sort now growing up all out of shape from toe to top. Their unremembering hearts and heads, base-born products of base beds. Sing the peasantry, and then hard-riding country gentlemen, the holiness of monks, and after porter drinkers' randy laughter. Sing the lords and ladies gay that were beaten into the clay through 7 heroic centuries. Cast your mind on other days, that we in coming days may be still the indomitable Irishry. Under Bearburn Bulben's head in Drumcliff churchyard Yeats is laid. An ancestor was rector there long years ago. A church stands near. By the road an ancient cross. No marble. No conventional phrase. On limestones quarried near the spot, by his command these words are cut. Cast a cold eye on life, on death. Horsemen, pass by. Yeah, Yeats at his most sublime. There's tons of Yeats I love, you know. And who else may brought to mind? Oh, yeah, I'll agree with Blake now. Oh, I don't think the German poetry's in here. I would like to find Randall Jarrell's. Maybe they have a bit. Probably have Faustus, Marlowe. But I've been doing a lot of quoting of I dealt with have. Imitation of Faust. Dionysus in Hades by Frederick Faust. Well, that's Goethe's Faust portions. Ooh, that's just a comment though. Valerie. I'd like to find more. Yeah, I gotta find this stuff to read. So I'm gonna read some of my own now. I guess I'll go back to. Is this still recording? Yeah. I hope that worked. Sure, hope that worked. At least you got the audio. So here's my ugly old mug again now. So here we go again for I don't know, just some other things. But I found some things, and somewhere else is the choral and solo thing. And there's a pile of stuff here, which I'm going to rescue from under things so I can grab some of it in a moment. And things I pulled in from outside today. So this is probably one I was taking History 451 at Simon Fraser up on Burnaby Mountain. It was different back then, way different than now. It was only 10 people in the seminar. I won't go on what went on in the seminar. I wound up dropping it, I guess you would say, out of pride. No, principle. Because the history prof was in it was completely out of her depth, discussing things I understood already in depth. This has often been my experience at university. So this is why I don't have a degree. The unprofessor, is that a legitimate thing to use? No, I'm a professor that doesn't have a degree. I profess knowledge. That's what that term means, a professor. Somebody who professes to know something. And I know one hell of a lot. And all the people that have all the alphabet soup after their name, a friend of mine used to call it that. Very apt, you know. Oh, geez, you got a BALLBGB, and what's it in again? Yeah, and they think they know everything and they want to run society just because they have a doctorate. They get paid more than everybody else. But that's not the way it was, right? That's not the way it was when university degrees were about educating the mind rather than trading drones for the machine. The university itself became corrupted by the machine. This is the whole story of the Book of the Machines and the Age of Reason. And I don't know. I guess you could call it the electoral revolution that's going on in terms of what is the universal field is clearly existence. Because look at this. This is fire. This is us talking by fire. And it's fire that's making this happen. No other. Gravity's not making this happen. I know that's kind of a simplistic thing, but all the paradigms are like that. They always operate at many levels. So anyways, a big central part of ancient science as what was allowed to survive thanks you to the church and Islam and all the other destructiveness forces. There's things we lost because of the Mongols right in the Mideast, which if they're gone, oh my God, Yeah, beautiful buildings, certain ones, but what was in one of them? Oh, but it might be there. You see, but then nobody's thinking to look because they assume that all ancient knowledge that the church destroyed. So why bother looking for it anyway? And that's part of the propaganda. So, anyways, there were two prevailing ideas there was actually probably more, but we got Parmenides and Heraclitus, we would say in English. Parmenides was that everything was water and that was constant flux, but you pour water, it can't come back in the same bucket again. Well, that's also the same thing with fire. And Heraclitus is the fire. So I've just read the Gerald Manley Hopkins about the Heraclitean fire. That's also the same as the Velikovskian fire. And Arthur Mesmer. Go look at that guy up. Reich, quite a bit. Wilhelm Reich, and all this stuff. And Mr. Tesla, of course. And the perversion of Mr. Tesla's technology that has resulted in the union with the oil industry. And I don't want to go into all that, but the Faustian bargain, the Mephistophelian price for what we've done. Yes, because look at me, I'm using this thing. Hi there, we're on the internet. Hey, but you know what can break the internet? What I'm trying to do is come tonight and just read some more of my things. So I did this thing on a playlet, sort of, I guess, of trying to think about a little film about Parmenides and Heraclitus sharing a room together or something like that. And I had another one where the devil comes in and has to apply for UI, which is like EI now, employment insurance, unemployment insurance. You go in and you have to fill out all these forms. Where's your ID? Well, and the devil, of course, has to lie, right? Of course, who else? But yeah, it's this whole process of trying to get culture. I said, been on the government's case for this. I'm talking to the MLA's office about the situation here where I live in this small community, right? Yeah, it's screwed up what happened here. It really is. That I could move into this and be stuck with this in the middle of winter with this happening and nobody able to help me. And the reason is the way things are run, or who we are. But people like me aren't running things. Instead, they're all centralizing things, cutting costs in the city, whatever. But out here, I'm out here so I can do this peaceably. Don't have to anybody come and bother me. I don't have to anybody schedule around me to say I have to stay up, although I do have to get up tomorrow morning. So anyway, I need these on to read for now. And I like to get them so they're not get another pair of it so they don't, reflect. But anyway, these are sort of stage directions and then there's some dialogue. Heraclitus and Parmenides. Dark stage. A laugh on left. Cough on left. Dim light grows on face of Heraclitus, though remaining hand face, off position, still in gloom. He looks around, startled as though coming awake. As he looks down at himself, the rest of his body comes into view. With it, though dimmer, the stage, Greek format, though abstracted in a continued ruination. Bits of colonnade, frieze, mosaic, scattered without form. A hint of green scenery and blue sky is in the background. The scene is a temple on a hilltop. Heraclitus turns around, stares at the backdrop. Continues to turn. He looks in the direction of the audience curiously and in sort of a double take alert as noticing a presence, squints, and then dismisses the thought, snorting. And then looks casually at the set again, as though appraising it. After a moment, Parmenides enters from the right. He coughs politely, seeking Heraclitus' attention. Heraclitus turns, greeting Parmenides' stare with a polite hint of unfamiliarity. And Parmenides says, "You are Heraclitus?" Heraclitus, yes, I am. "I am Parmenides. Please be at ease and be welcome." "To where?" Heraclitus still is not understanding. "I believe that this is death," Parmenides says. "But I do not know. Perhaps it is not. Perhaps it is nothing." "Pardon me?" "I am sorry. There was much to explain. If I could." There's another word there somewhere. Retreats and sits on the dais of stairs. Heraclitus retreats and sits upon the dais of stairs at rear stage, astonished, looking at Parmenides, who watches politely, forlornly, as he does so. Please explain. How did I get here? I do not know this place. Nor I, Parmenides says. It seems made of fragments of our times, that is only my experience. You bewilder me, Heraclitus says. Please do not lose heart. Accept it for now, being here. Where is here? I do not know, Parmenides says. I came here as yourself just now. From where? And how? Again, I don't understand. But there's much that seems obvious. Heraclitus stares silently. There's a pause. I do not remember whence I came or when. I do not know if this is yesterday or tomorrow, before or after my life, or a dream during it. But is when you came now, it has always been thus. I believe this is death. Why? Because I have no memory of life. Where were you this morning? This morning, why? Is this morning or evening? I cannot tell, nor I. That is what I mean. Here, we are separate from our lives, our ages, it seems, from our times. We have only our consciousness. And it seems to be both this is rum, I say form, I don't know. And more than any period or moment of our lives. Some SUM, and more than any period or moment of our lives, including the whole. There is only here, but we are us. Heraclitus goes, remarkable. We never met, he says. Parmenides looks. In our lives, we never did we? Not in my memory. You lived in another time, yet I know of you, and I of you. Though you were after my time. This must be death, so Parmenides goes, or after, or perhaps life, perhaps before it. Yes, indeed. Perhaps, Parmenides says. They have an awkward silence. And we are thus put with each other, Heraclitus says. It appears so why we may yet discover until our purpose is made clear. I suggest we pass the time. This really is very much else to do. Discourse? Heraclitus says, certainly. Parmenides says, why not? Some will share thoughts, and words are complementary, perhaps conflicting. Perhaps debate is our purpose. For who? Heraclitus says. He starts, catches P's eye, like, for who? And the audience, it puts piercing glare into the audience, piercing gaze into the audience. Yes, I know. Posterity, perhaps eternity, a god, a dreamer, who knows? It scarce matters. This dream is ours together. How solid we seem, perhaps, something like that. We are merely dead and simply conscious of our own presence. But I am awake, Heraclitus says. But you always said. But here, waking has outlived or outdistanced life. This is changeless. One. Heraclitus says, but all changes, always. Parmenides, yes, thus it has ever been, and therefore ever the same. Heraclitus, it changes, it cannot be same. All the same, it changes. The acts of changing are the same. Then that must change. Very, very neat. Very neat. But all words, as always. The author tires, is fired, extirpates. Parmenides, he loses awareness of the moment. He slips back into the fabric of time that passed, passing, unchanging. Heraclitus, you cannot be who you were. You changed, a god. Were born, died, did you not? And there were none like you. You were unique in difference. There is proof of multiplicity. Purity, the word photopurity, that's not right. And our age is past. I'll have to figure that out another time. Not yet, it's been a long time. Parmenides goes, well, how fascinating. Yes, it is, he goes, Heraclitus says, but philosophy never had much point anyway, did it? All just words. Parmenides, yes, just meanings given, names taken. Well, Heraclitus says, here we are, or were, alone. Perhaps has always been done. Our debate has ended. Gets cut off by Parmenides, weary of its flux, and Parmenides fades out. He wearies of its flux, he fades out. Heraclitus stares where Parmenides had been, slowly shifts, stares towards the audience, observant and question, he mumbles. The thunderbolt steers all things, that one which alone is wisdom. The visible and indivisible goes by the name of being, of life, all is fire. He stares over the audience, resolved and contemplative. The light on his form goes out as a candle flame. Oh, there's more scenes here. I won't do the whole thing, but I missed a whole bit. There's a long dialogue between them. I guess I should send this to my actor friends. And yeah, there's a double page thing here. Weary of its flux, and then it goes over here, I guess, as a candle flame. It looks like Act 2 comes on after that might be the continuation of this one, maybe. Stage lights on. Parmenides and Heraclitus. The scene is a formal garden with fragments of statuary in odd places, a fountain. They start and inspect each other. Heraclitus says, so here we are again. Yes, but not here. Or rather, there. Wherever. We are now here, somewhere different. Much is mystery about this. What can be the cause? Where are we set to each other's wills, made unto each other's awareness? Only as souls have always been, Parmenides says. Thrust upon each other, searching for meaning in the encounter. Is flesh really needed? Or are we shaped by, of, or by it? Heraclitus says, why question? Here, again, we are. Let us continue. We are outside of it. But where we are is changeless, Parmenides says. Change is the pattern in its fabric. Warp and woof was said of the thread of the fates. Heraclitus says, I'm tired of this. Our debate has no earnestness, no life, no fire. Our meeting was made, not happened. We have been made, badly imitated. I would sooner forget myself, you, all of this, and withdraw from Parmenides says, to eternal sleeps. And Heraclitus says, perhaps to birth. Parmenides, yes, perhaps we shall see. Another time, perhaps. The stage starts to dim. Eventually a conversation closes into two heads floating in the darkness. Yes, another time. Whence are identities, Heraclitus? So easily made, so easily dissolved. Whence they came are beyond our ken, ourselves, but the fire and your eternal seed. I should add that that bit about perhaps the birth with Heraclitus, that is, that was the proper sequence of those pages. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually, for a little playlet. I should circulate that to my actor friends. I know, yeah, Mike, read your own stuff, I know, but I'd like to see what people do with that and enrich the material, right? Because I inflected it with my own meanings. That's kind of my meaning, and that's what I want is meaning. And that's my reservations on circulating stuff. Oh, politics. Oh, I'll save that politics. I'll put that aside. Science fiction. What do we have right here? I want to see what's in this pile right here and this pile right here, especially this pile. See what I got here. I want to see what I got here. Because I said I'd do some of my own. I did some Blake, and I did some, there's other Aengus I could. Oh, yeah, well, when this is, wow, yeah, I said, this would be 1983. I'll know what that means. Later in 82, maybe. At the point the writing is a departure after what I call the volcano poems, which is 1980, where it was going. It was just coming, just trying to write condensed metaphysical poetry. But what? Yeah, well, using Norse idioms and you should be using that rhyme. Blah 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 blah. These untrained on it, like who was it? Blake in that one poem, and then Ben Bulben. Yeah. The people who don't know anything who, I just don't pay them any attention. So anyway, it's about that actually. Has no title. A lot of these little short things have no title. This one looks like this. So, buildings of mind are mazes of thought, the towers of pride, the walls of the labyrinth, the weight of the body. Writing, the folly of tongues, strength, the breaker of forms. The buildings of mind are the mirrors of self. Sunder, O chains. Throb, world. There's an alternate line here. The last half goes, the buildings of mind are the mirrors of light. Leap through the window of the body. Sunder, O chains. Throb, world. Yeah, I read into what you want. People go Freudian on it. They'll go Jungian. They'll want to analyze it. Why don't you just be your own poetry, right? Yeah, my diary stuff is interesting to read. The things I wrote that are not thought of. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I leave something aside there too in Babylon Town because the context of the tower for me has now changed. I know it wasn't Babylon. God, was it ever not? Holy cow. Well, that was, I know where it was now, the Tower of Babel. And I know why the tongues were broken and how they were broken. Remember I was mentioning electricity? Yeah, it has to do with all that. The Song of the Lyre. Of course, this is Apollo's instrument. Ho, ye sons of Orpheus. Can you bend fine wrought a tune on the golden lyre of song? Can you fire the silver strings aloft with flowing light of time and space? Ho! And will you make the mountains dance for me and the force of the stars bend ear? Will you break all, odd the world asunder with the beauty of the lyre's song? Ho! Then let me feel your touch, your song. Ho, ye sons of Orpheus! Ye are the fire of all the world. Let it burn. Let it burn. In the empty rage of Evernight. In the empty rage of Evernight, the quiet strength will of the gentle void. A point of light that is brightly brief, and the world was made night. The shimmering chorus of time, hewn space, grew noticed of the absent chords. The evermood began to throb dark melody with tender voice of the final night, the exquisite pain of mortal fate, and the idle vanity of song. Yeah, I was influenced a lot. I'll have to say that by David Lindsay's Voyage to Arcturus. Anybody who's read that might be reminded of that form. Yeah, this is my own metaphysical poetry, I guess you'd call this. Touch this form of fire. Touch this form. And this tongue burn, this tongue in the infernal flame of Zeus. And let this mouth breathe hot light, even as the horses, solely driven by the Olympian, by the son of time. S-O-N. Foreseeing, solely, horses solely mastered by the Olympian. Yeah, and I get foreseeing right now. I'll just show you how I'm not sure how to interpret what I wrote, but that's what it looks like. So, yeah. I'm having fun here. So, Poison Mountain is the Upper Gallicum. It's a place northwest of Lillooet. It's the North Fork of the Bridge River, which turns immediately southwest at Moha and into the great, huge, amazing Bridge River Canyon. But it goes up in the two mountain ranges of the Shoelaps and the Camel's Foot. They come together in Poison Mountain is like a high round thing, and Big Red Mountain is the highest one, and the Camel's Foot behind it's the copper mine. Well, whatever. But French Mountain is next, but actually French Bar Mountain. They renamed it. I don't know why they have to change names. It were such good names. Jeez. Anyways, as far as I know, it was always French Bar Mountain. I don't think, well, I'll have to look into that. It's an interesting thought. Yeah, local microhistory is very important here because it's all very, very new history. A lot of the history is still alive, including the white people and things are named for, and a lot of the First Nations people whose relatives or have their own names for things that aren't on the map or don't appear on our maps. And why is that for tourism? I'm going to say that if I go to the Gold Table. Why is this the Gold Council saying, why don't you have the native reserves on the map here? I do not understand. You have a gold country map. You have the famous historic bars, either for the tourists, right? Kanaka Bar, Nicaragua Bar, all of them up Boston Bar, all the way up and down the river. Anyway, so Poison Mountains just go to High Dome of Land. I had forced look at the circular roads around. You can't go up there anymore, which is a good thing because the Alpine gets sensitive. At about 8,000 something, I think, or just almost 8,000. Pretty high up. So you get this view west over towards the Marble Range beyond. Maybe you might see the Monashees or the Caribou Mountains on the far side of the plateau, maybe on a really clear day. And on the other way to the northwest, which I saw around the north side of it, you can see the mountains falling off into the Chilcotin Plateau swamps. It's all swamp at that level, stretching up. And the line of the Coast Mountains in the Chilcotin is like the line of the Rockies as you approach them across the prairies. There's a second line of mountains within British Columbia. Yeah, there is. And people don't get that until they drive Highway 20 or Highway 17. And they go like, oh, see, like when you come through Highway 1, you just go from one sort of your valleys and the plateaus. All looks like mountains to somebody in the east. They don't understand the terrain, right? No. It's only like the prairies, but only higher up the Chilcotin. As is in the Chaco. Not as high as the Chilcotin, though, I don't think. I'm not sure about that. Maybe the Chaco is even higher. But yeah, that bridges through into the Bulkley, and it really is East Rose Lake it goes through, which is where I know exactly where that is, because it's the Waddington, what we call the call for Waddington's, where Waddington's prominence is measured from. You know, it's the highest thing in the Pacific Ranges and the southern boundary ranges. And the highest in the north, no, it's higher than the one in the north. But yeah, it's right there at Rose Lake, right in this area by the Unistoten Bridge. It's also probably a tribal boundary, not tribal boundary. These are chieftaincies. These are like duchies, counties. So as a poet, I'm like really outraged what's going on in this country, and I'm feeling behooved to go into exile like Joyce did, or out of protest. Except who am I to do that? I can't. I'm broke. Am I? No, I'm rich of spirit, obviously, and good of tongue. So anyway, this is about. It also refers to the Chilcotin War, and I'm using a certain way to pronounce the name of a Chilcotin name for the guy who was the principal guy hung and led the war. But his name is recorded by history is variously Cladacine, all kinds of people pronounce it all ways. I had a certain way of pronouncing it, which is important for the rhythm and how I do this. So this is called From Poison Mountain. I've never been up to the top. I want to get up there on a clear morning. You got the Shoelaps Range down that way, Camel's Foot that way. It's an amazing view of what we call the South Chilcotin. Don't like the name, but it goes all the way up to Southern Chilcotin Ranges. Yeah, Southern Chilcotin Ranges all the way up towards to see the names that are lake in here. The lakes that are named in here. So from Poison Mountain, you can see the sun, light climbing down the coastal Isis, down Cold Rock to the Red Pine Plateau Hills, the velvet folded canyons of Clat-Sasan's high Chilcotin, with the tears just wind shutting wild in your honor, when you knew the wild heights were doomed? Was the anger just nature feeding through your face the horror of her wounds from mankind's ancient war? Beyond the last mountain to the northwest, Hamasco, cries of long-fought battles. Tatlico and Tisico, wars once again await the highland storm, and gray gales of Chilco and Silver Throne. Darkness gathers over the true north, cold, for sunlight cannot stop the road. Just a postcard day, a scene from magazines, an unknown view of the old new world. Canada, oh Canada, my country, 'tis of thee. It's interesting when I wrote that. I know, 1981. It applies right now. I changed the words a little bit. It just came out of me that way about, I mentioned the Highland Storm, and Tisico is actually the site of a mine. Tatlico, yeah, well, there's a, Warren Buffett has a power project there that should never have been allowed to be built. Thank you, Gordon Campbell. But it's too late now. I say that if we're going to be owned by the Americans, then we are Americans. We have a right to vote in their elections and take control, and you'd be able to sue them under American law. We don't have the right to sue them under Crown law. No, we don't. So, yeah, I'm like Byron. I'm going, okay, like I was reading about some other poets just now, looking through the site. I go, oh, yeah, I'm not the only one. This is, I might see about using this for lyrics for a certain thing I played when I was a small child, but this is the same meter. So, when I was a small child, I roamed into the wild, and it goes. Yeah, I guess I tried to write them down. Other lyrics came out as I wrote them. When I was a small child, I roamed into the wild, seeking dreams and wanderings to pass away the while. When I saw the wild world sleeping, and I knew that it must end, I knew that time was fleeting, and I would wander then. Far and farther were the roads, brighter were the stars, and one day I came to know of strangers from afar. Then I knew the wide world sleeping, and I knew that it must end, when you know that time is fleeting. Will you go me then? I'm not sure. Looks like one word. When I was a small child, Smallen, I roamed into the wild, dreaming, sleeping, wandering, to learn of further miles. When you know that time is fleeting, then you know that we must end. When you know the world is sleeping, will ye come home then? And I lost you, my friend. When I know that time is fleeting, I shall so hear then. I shall so hear then. I don't know. I'm having trouble reading my own writing. But yeah. That's lyrics for a certain song. I got to send that aside because that's. I got a filing cabinet thing finally from the stuff I rescued from the. I don't like seeing things thrown out. I'm going to turn on my little singing. What's it here? We're here. Up. I need the light. There's another thing I got here in the night, one night. Got something. Oh, this is. And so, and the empires of all our dreams, walls wrought as rainbows, cursed, crumble from the weight of freedom and the burden of humankind. Fast hewn by the turning of our spears, luminesced a shining, quick watered by a liquid light, form undone to heat, a swirl, a vortex of bright wind at the center of our fires. We watch in dread the forming of our future, the tying of our cord. Who can unknot the thread of history? What new rule for rulers dare demand our epic's grand doomed riding out? Time's unfolding bloom reveals the void, the likeness mystery of what shall be. This is our destiny, to face out our time, to take upon together the task that our ancient kings contrived, the mastering of our world, by not one hand but all. This is fall, the Berlin Wall, the burned and blackened thrones of Romany, Prague's castling ramparts, Warsaw's burned out lie. But who will die ere all is wrought? Who shall count the dead or name the nameless heroes? Let the thunder reek, but seek ye shelter from the storm. Yeah, that would have been, the time of the falling of the Berlin Wall and all that stuff. So yeah, that's undertyped, I guess you could say. There's a lot of, that's a really, really thin manuscript in terms of the typing. But I'm really enjoying this. I hope you are. I won't do this for too long tonight. 45 minutes, just a little bit more. That I'm going to have to figure out first. Yeah, I have to figure that one out first. That's worth figuring out. I know what that one is. It's just written really randomly. Suspicious Age is a song. You did that one. Take a drink. This one somebody asked me to do once, and then somebody rang the door, and I never did it for the guy. Things went awry. But he had never said he'd never got with poetry. And I would have liked him to understand. One of these guys that's like a business student that really needs to be able to life enriched. But no. Somebody came about something else. I mean, I don't know. Things went off rails. So this is the one I was going to read. And I was like, oh, right now this guy just banned him. No, I'm going to do it anyway. What beauties have we squandered? What gifts spoilt and ruined by forcing too hard the hand of destiny? Amid the flotsam of the latter days, amid the strewn glories of our ancient empire that made the brood of the blood of poets and the deaths of all our kings. Did we love less that we knew love no more, or made greater loss of all our victory, for but to reckon with our deeds? Waking from dream within the flesh, we found a knowing too strong to face, too great to fear. Passion cast our burden out before the eyes our fate. Love tumbled into the mountains of the night, tumbled with the mountains of the night. Yea, that may we walk this way no more, that all our tryings but a foil to starve the world with surfeit and bitter loneliness. The gods of anger and of love and of the madness that is song stride forth into the rosy-fingered dusk. The horses of the sea, mounted rare in foamy mane, ablaze with virtue and with might. Night, the tune of heaven chording through the sky. Life and love the lash to idle hearts aggrieved by the weight of history. Touch me now, and bring here your side to me. Cleave to me the knowledge of your form. Grasp me in the sweetness of your sylvan strength. Show mine eyes the thunder, thy skin, the armor of my soul. Eros, fevered, awakes. It's like comes up out of a dream. I should do that again and try not to stumble. That's really one of my best poems from a certain period, and I really regret not meeting him. I'll say his name, Omar. We might have gotten on a better footing, and then somebody showed up at the door about something, and then stupid joke. That went off the rails. Yeah, it's hard to explain because they've never been explained to any of the classics who should have been. But anyway, enough about the person that never wound up as a friend. But this was something I meant to read, and it was in front of me, and I went, how do I do this? I just met the guy. But yeah, it's a powerful thing for somebody that doesn't understand classics. So let me do it again. It's a powerful thing anyway. But anyway, what beauties have we squandered? What gifts spoilt and ruined by forcing too hard the hand of destiny? Amid the flotsam of these latter days, amid the strewn glories of our ancient empire that made the blood of poets and the deaths of all our kings? Did we love less that we knew love no more, or made greater loss of all our victory, for but to reckon with our deeds? Waking from dream within the flesh, we found a knowing too great to face, too great to fear. Passion cast our burden out before the eyes of fate. Love tumbled into the mountains of the night. Yea, that we might not walk this way no more, that all our tryings but a foil to starve the world with surfeit and bitter loneliness. The gods of anger and of love and of the madness that is song stride forth into the rosy-fingered dusk. The horses of the sea mount and rear in foamy mane, ablaze with virtue and with might. The tune of heaven chorded through the sky, light and life and love the lash, to idle hearts aggrieved by the weight of history. Touch me now, and bring here your side to me. Cleave me to the knowledge of your form. Grasp me in the sweetness of thy sylvan strength. Show mine eyes the thunder, thy skin, the armor, my soul. Eros, fevered, awakes. So I don't know. I feel like sending it to somebody, but no, never mind. If he ever hears it, then I know it was for him. No, it wasn't for him, but I was balked at reading it for him. I would have liked to connect, but shit happened. Stupid people. The stupid people syndrome always. Never this person you want to know. I'm not sure who this was about. It will come to me maybe as I read it. I think I know. We were too complacent in our leisures, too sweet in wasting out the urge of moment, to leave while still our love was fresh, while still free from idleness and discontent. Time heals, but new lessons wound afresh. Foibles follied out again to teach us we never walk, but only crawl or fly through life scrambling, then soaring, but always on three legs we walk. Forever are we old, anon and new, and lost amid the tumult of time's eternity. What can we ever know? How deep is love? What ought we do shall last? Dare we save our memory? What act of hand or word of thought will matter when all things converge, events confluent on our days, as rocks beneath a shallow stream? That was just me sort of to making notes. You know, I'm not actually even trying there. This is part of the Volcano song there. That's fine. That's coming next. That's there. I did this the other night. This is the original type shift. There's another version of it. Worldbane Wood I've done. That's right here. Surrender, and of that one. But the choro here, yeah, the choro and strophe. I don't have the full thing, I don't think. Yeah, I do. All right. One last thing then, and then I'll sign off, I guess. I can see surrender. And I'll do surrender first. I think I did it the other night, but yeah, I'll do it again. Even the fairest words turn bitter. The sweetest beauty lost of fineness. What did I mistake that laid me waste? What lie of truth did turn me folly? Gray vistas of a city winter, a dulling pain that halts my gait. Without aim or source, my days are past, estranged from labors fit for cause. Rhyme had chained me, music both. The grand rhapsody of meaning's curse made me enemy to my most honest friends. My art is done. I am left with only toil. Cheap tales of robber eye, hard lust, quick thoughts, and feelings but half cast are the oldest craft. Are all the oldest craft is called to now. A wordsmith's living without firm grasp. give chase, lay sweet abed, for love's useless by name of true romance, an explosion, a high fall, a kill, all made entertainments for the market's ware. I am cast out, my gift impaled. The hard street is no place for me, but the wild mountain's gates are sealed or ruined. May God entrust me to a destiny. In the taking of a tune, we learn to steal another's dream. By the beating of that drum, the darkness stirs, our end has come. For those that want to have a look at that, I should publish, I know, but you know what? Who's going to publish this stuff? Oh, sir, you need to do some editing. We have to see it, and we have to get so-and-so to approve. Oh, fuck off. I don't care. But I'm doing this now. I'm doing it live because this is what poetry should be. It should be live. It shouldn't be book form. Poetry should all be open source. The Euripides was open source because everybody had perfect. You know the story about Mozart being able to go back home and write down everything he saw? Well, everybody used to be like that in the old days, in the very old days. The essence of education was memory work, learning the Iliad and the Odyssey. You think the Bible is long to learn by memory, and people don't even learn it by memory anymore. The Iliad is way longer. Never mind the Mahabharata, which is a famous Indian epic, the Song of Great India. So this is laid out like this. I'm just going to read it through with the solo and the choro. It's meant to be like a quasi-Greek play, kind of. I don't know. Maybe it will be. My version of the Myrmidons. I guess you could say the Myrmidons is like the group that Achilles and Patroclus were from within the Achaeans, that clan or whatever they were. But it's a lost play as Sophocles. It apparently was one of Alexander's favorites, which I would really love somebody to find in the School of Epicurus in the library somewhere. Heraclitean map. Oh, we found a scroll of Sophocles. Oh, look, we got 20 new plays. Holy cow, would that be something? There's only 7 out of 130, and that's just him. How many we have Euripides? Not very many at all. 6, 12 maybe. Aeschylus, 8, I think. 80, 100. That's another playwright we don't even have any records of. And Aristophanes, we've only got some of, right? The Greek literature is like dizzyingly brilliant. A lot of Roman stuff's pretty good too. I've got to read Hippolytus actually. A Golden Ass. It has to do with my life, that story, I guess you could say. And I believe it's also where something amusing, something appalling. So that song comes from. That musical comes from. Strophe. Fragment from a play. Some men are made of stone and steel. Others born children of the pure fire, or branchlings of the dark and fertile loam. Sweet smelling, sprung from the rod of decay. How human hearts have come to learn toil and anguish even amidst the breaths of joy, growing bold towards the human death, what we learn, what we manage to achieve, only knots marks on the linen bind of history, no more than that, though torn to yearn for the slender stars, but captives of our ocean blood, we flit and surge, breed a storming song, conquering our womb itself, poisoning the very wind that gives us voice, lets us sail and fly. We are all servants of time, enslaved by flesh, and bound for love and for mortality. How is man made for this? How does woman bear its seed? The great cities rise and spoil, war and dust erode their very names. Green jungles, blue oceans, golden sand and dun barrens spin around the glittering black, tumbling alone into a lonely night. And crowned by white truth of ice, gripped in cold claws of gravity and light, all attitude and emotion but fiction of our vanity, the friction of our pride against implacable eternity, surrendered by mathematic, by the hymn of quanta. What sole human love means aught for this? What aim but death can fill out the fullness of our breeding? Will we walk in gardens on new wrought worlds? Will we raise new cities to rule empires, turn on stars? Which vastness lies greater? the maze of mire and mass that is our expansive universe, to the hidden chambers and labyrinths of a single human heart. And what in a million worlds could make match for the twistings bound by two? Solo. That was chorus. Love is joyous, bonding souls to laughter, and by fire, its waving spin, outside time and lie beyond the empires of space, the conquests of our flesh and mind. But never have I found a love worth and true as all the stars of a million unseen skies. Without love, we die alone, long before our bodies evacuate of life and turn to rot and sift to this cradle of Mother Stone. I have wandered and sung across 1,000 worlds, seemed a fool to all those of wiser tribes, for wanting what cannot be, what is long lost, for forsaking all the jewels of this silvered galaxy. For lack of faith in all the nameless gods, I dare seek for love, for life. I sing for eternity, and everywhere, but only a surfeit of their form. Lonely sows a poet's tower, steep rear its perilous parapet. Who hides therein must sing alone, pure, but without seed, for no love can match a gifted mind. Delicate is its power, without making challenge to its fire, or dousing out its flame. Even though he can sail the wondrous sea of stars, myriad with 1,000 worlds, no rest he has found in speech or sight, songs sung in 100 tongues. Rare is the gift, rare he who lives out its trying's rough-lived course, sparkling in the night. Rarer she who could fulfill that quest, blind lover to a human god. Shaken with the brilliant fever of life, man is born for more than death, more than the whip of mere destiny, more than all the cities of all the endless stars. None can say what a vital adventure will be worth more than a magnate's wealth. None can say what quiet, silent truth will shatter the most potent, royal might, or carry more fury in its power than the strongest magics of the hidden world. Few are old, most are young, yet the shape of love is older still than the wisest of all mortal minds. Honor him who carries this burden on his mortal tongue. Who knows what power this gift shall fate? Who dreams of what only dreams can create? Tender me, sweet love. Feel me yearn to find you warm and true within my arms. For I am a child of the pure fire, forged in stone and steel, and born from out the dark loam. I never read that all the way through before, but when I write, I'm orating. I guess is the word I use, orating. Orations, you know. Well, yes, and I do a certain kind of thing. Well, since it opened there, it's like pulling a deck of cards. I pulled something out here that I was going to read. And there's another a story that I'll do another night, maybe, unless I decide to do it tonight. I just spotted it as I open the stack. I want to read it all tonight. Isn't that funny? Oh, I get it. This is vain. This is vanity. Because I love what I do. I did, right? But anyway, a lot of people like Norse mythology and dragon stuff. So this is called the Lay of Fafnir, who, of course, is the dwarf who became the great dragon that Sigurd killed and has a certain way to kill him through poisons to pits and bellies and stuff like that. And he his heart get to burned the heart. They got to hear the beasts and birds like Orpheus. You could understand them. This is geophysical as well as metaphysical poetry. The dragon is the scion of the earth. His fire is the belly of the earth, black, hot. Lo! For we have dug him from his ancient grave, made science of his blinding death. The mysteries are made corrupt. Where the great dragons lay, centuries sleeping into millennia, we have cloved and turned the sod wherein their great bones dreamt out an ancient and internal destiny. For back into their earth the dragons sank down, home into the dark cleft flame and dust, that first gave them breath and long living is wisdom. Their end came. Their time outlived, and we small apes leapt down from trees and swam up onto the steep veiled ocean shore. Then found foot, then hewed the verdant, rifted earth asunder. Did, as olden legends sang, our warriors bold slay crew, the worm-kind king, the last long princess of the sky and abyss, the lordly monsters of the ocean deeps and dark cavern halls, butchered to pay the tribute their secret majesty, and made toils upon our virgin too young soils. Did your kin end their race by sharp sliver swords, or did we but our learning's plowshares dig up their hidden eyes? The last beloved eggs unbroken, turned stone, and found a raise unto the cold of altar crypts and reliquaries, were shadowed by hammer and light to trace our ancient line. The dragon land arises, world serpent shifts his coils. Our payment's time come, our living's test is come. Our payment's time, our living's test is come. The sacrifice shall be the flower of the earth. The stone shall be seared clean. The garden of the world remade. Gimli. And where are the giants, dead or smitten, humbled by the wrath and heaven's hammer? Where lie the serpent woods and lions pacing, oaken groves where first we learned our names and were taught the rites and to fear the gods? Where is the water thunder and the deepest void, that twixt ice and fire? Who has turned dare the earth's fine glass a pale, staled with blood and evil smoke? Crystal, many cracked by the wasters of our furled crafts, furied crafts. The sky made open to the heaven fire. The bright brilliant waters over the firmament, scorching, scarring out our filigree of errant life. The million-yeared star, the sole survivor of our tale, the inheritor of the lonely hall of gold-root flame. Hydra. And still we are reptile, and deep crouch burns our inner mind, that which we knew before our heated blood, before we surged and struggled in the mud, writhing out of the luster of hot sunlight, and sought the cool shadow of the forest star night, that makes us passionate in love and angry with our feeding urge. Ancient tales we knew and sang, and of ancient loins we once were brewed, long ere we touched night, for fire was yet new within our fumbled knowing's grasp. We bear the legacy of the Saurian kings who lived out the curse of power, extinguished their own mastery of the motherland. This is a separate poem, but I'll do it. This is for a certain friend, Mike. He has a place in Darcy. Never went to their place a certain day. I should have. It was during never mind. This is about we not having gone there. But there was this instant bond with some of them. I had so many times I've just not gone there when I need to. Well, I should have. I got dizzy. Other things happened. I don't know why that day I didn't go. And he knew that I knew the country that I come from. And there's some swimming pools in the Spridge River Canyon. I would love to take them to him and his friends. We will swim together in the waters of our jade-black river, bathe naked cold in stream pools where salmon koi. We will eat of the hard apples in the lakeland dales, chew dry apricots in the desert feast. Come, my love, touch me through the waters, running icy hot around our loins. Warm me with your sinewed breast, heal me in your strong embrace. The canyon, orange, green, red, and purple gray, in the windy dun, brown umber amid an arid dusk. The breath of sage and pineland towering, our senses heady with mountain perfumed heat. I will show you the high ridge, the gray blue sky. I will lead your eyes along the north horizon, forest girt. Hold my loneliness in your stern soul. Wrap me in your folded flesh. Rock, soothe me. River, wash me clean. Cleave me to my lover. Take me deep into the ocean earth. jasper, garnet, agate fire, serpentine and red vermilion, hard sand, warm stone, and flowered dust. Yeah, certain kind of poet, certain time, everything that was certain time. Another poem from that era, which I saw this, as I said, I saw, okay, the Nameless Land. In the Nameless Land, shadows deepen. The mountains raise a curtain of the night across the blue-veiled sky. An ancient lake resounds with drum and the beating of a sword, the frenzy of a vanished crown. Chalath, the lake is called, and the sky above it, the lands below, a great death swept here, then famine, then the latter powder people plowed it under. The metropolis that lay between the lakes was undone, a once great warren of home holes and hearths. Here the transformers had come and turned back before coyotes will. At Skimka, where were the floater fish and the stone snake, and the climbing lizards and the golden hummingbird, where the lake was clear jade, the dust-thinned gold and mauve, where Begbie decried the desolate land and damned the chieftains for their pride. Retasket, Skimka, Shalath, Nkumsh, Shwiston, these are the battlegrounds of our nation's souls, witness to the deeds of men and the ways of law, a court ruled only by the power of the land. Now, I'm not Slatlian, but obviously I have strong sympathies on their behalf. Never mind my family history there. It's sort of a bit of a short story that never went anywhere. He tried not to think of where he'd been, but risked remembering Vasha's grasp. Her thumb traced his nipple, her mouth hot on his lips, his tongue. He loosed the thought, unknotting it and flinging it away, let his body feel it out and let it go. No memory could be kept for long within the hunt. She would be found if he thought the place named her world or her. He decided to crawl, to move away from the rift. Grass, low in the grass, seeking downhill for water, sheltered thirst. A grove of beeches. Towered above the tinkling water, a dark pool. Where was he? For an Earth planet to grow wild? Many worlds had been settled, many more traversed. Bits of Earth itself was hidden. The bracelet glowed, reminding him to take it, but he could not wear it. Putting it in his pouch, he slunk toward the water, daring not to make a sound. Dawn. How long till dawn? A smaller world. Maybe only a few minutes, depending on the latitude. Try not to describe, to sense, only be. Eat, sleep, love. Dare not think or locate yourself in any way. How many worlds had he dreamt since it began? How many shapes and names has he worn? Many strange loins and hearts explored. He dare not know now that he understood. Boldness only begets fate. He was warned to learn. To step abroad amid the dark corridors universe, do not presume yourself unseen. For you are new, your way, clumsy. He had flourished at last, shifting at random, having fun, thinking it was all a game. Then he had learned the rules, the implacable evidence of a higher scheme, and not so necessarily a beneficial one at that. Strange events had befallen him, sudden attacks, instant retribution for thoughts dared, souls touched. He began to learn that your mind could shape your life from without mercy. Like a beacon in the night, a free-roving heart attracted the thirst for blood, for meat and lust and feeling. He had learned that he would be the object of a hunt. Fleeing through 1,000 worlds, hiding even as great wanderers did, legends of the cosmic shadows whose names mortals would never know. Even they ran if they must. How long could he live to face the darkness? Must he live to face the darkness, to grow great, to fend off the huntsman, whose names and shapes he could not know, did not know, whose methods were only a rumor, whose damage a carnal, bitter truth? He drank of the water and crawled back to lay amid the crests and gaze unthinking at the new lay stars. A swirling plume lay above the nightward sky like a holy glyph. A blue-yellow dim broke across the sunward sky. Could he hide here and play mortal for a few careful years? Maybe sorrowsome young if reading was to be had? He dozed amid the growing dawnlight, trying not to dream. Yeah, a lot of science fiction wanderer stuff, We'll save that one. I'll save that one for another night. My throat's getting sore. Aftermath, that one's called. So I'll just remind myself. I'll put the stuff that I've already ripped apart. Oh, there, we'll do my little Heraclitus things here. I'll do those. I like the Heraclitus stuff. And after hearing Pindar, Ode on Fire. I think I already did the Existential Cowboy one. I just ran a bunch of copies of it. And yeah, some of this stuff I've already read. That one I'll bring out too. A little sip of water. A few more before I'm done. And then, hour 15, for fuck's sake. And I wanted to watch some of the news and chill out and have some food. So, long before there was rap, there was this. This Dunciation is renunciation, a remonstration of hard fact. The confabulation of grand tabulation, a generation of weight and impact that tact has lacked, a mind's nation attacked, an act, the lot of haughty station. Patience! These agents are not truth's masons, but the harbingers of dream, renaissance of art's patents, awakening and hastens the mean dividing twain and made extreme. A compunction for injunction, made a function, a stream for unction, a conjunction cream of heady stars, the Milky Way, Andromeda separated. Afar is the day when enervated ideas will pass into the grass, and the reel that runs is only spun of the feel of tongues undone. Something quizzical, an unsing, metaphysical. Renounce and bounce. It mounts as trounce and founts. And the title came last, Atlas. Shirking off the weight of the world, right? Yeah, I'm just writing more of the strophe there. The strophe I just did. I'm gonna save that for that. Or I'm not gonna do that in a moment. Maybe, I don't know. I'll do Aftermath. And strophe I've done already. It seems to have been easier to be an immortal fool than a mortal one. Now that the change has occurred, however, there seems to be no choice on the matter for me, much as I am tempted, best say inclined, to wish and hope for, indeed, to believe in. The urge to go over it, to give myself over to the passions of the mosaic, the demonic frenzy by which I have soothed old wounds and mysteries, healed the sore on my loveless heart with diabolical sob for the diabolical hurt incurred by the same. Oh, that sounds too simple. These words as well twist more than one way. Explanations are never as pat as that, and the weight of that vocabulary and special grammar is as yet undiscerned. There are mysteries and privacies which the unexperienced will never comprehend the truth and lie of, no matter what they think they know or know of, or horrors that they should know more than. Even were the road of inspiration not half so dangerous as I have known it to be, even if it could not solve its modern and timely dilemma, even were its hellish burns not a searing enough memory, if still would beckon, still would demand to be called forth. For me, alas, it is no different, nor can it ever be the same again. Whether I have broken or released, I feel deep that there is no return, only self-seductive echoes and yearnings back in towards the romantic abyss. Torn between two worlds, having to use wit instead of will, to find me another way than crawling into or onto or being crawled onto by a fit, or having to fit off all those fits with earnest alertness and only mortal strength and will, this is my present fate. It is less easy now to be careless. I can no longer afford the wisdom of foolishness, for my folly has been infamed. Its captive energies unleashed. I must learn other urges to satisfy thy need. Still, I wonder, rationally, if the world I have crossed into, or been pulled into, pushed into, pushed out of, is not itself the demonic, that I am now tainted with an ordinary corruption and shackled with the human condition, enslaved to its bastard machineries. Everything is the truth, of course, whatever, wherever one is. So these questions are increasingly ceasing to matter. I have simply become a human demon, that is all. And most humans must have something more than magic and reason. I must learn this now, however it may come out or out. There is, of course, the possibility, past experience would even say probability, but the extraordinariness of recent experience indicates this is not now so reliably so. That is to say, in the psycho-spiritual realm, to grope for a term, indeed that I have lost or failed whether it was a gamble or a battle. Pragmatic concerns indicate serious trouble as a result of this change, though such a question becomes moot. I am certainly can only proceed from here with controlled effort in both areas of concern. But since poetry and music, and perhaps language and characterization and mad flights of historical interpretation and political divination seem to have been the product of my infestation, introversion, convolution, call it what you will, I seem to be in a position where I've been stripped of my skill. Ironic, because it was this lack of the confidence I've gained that kept me from using these talents before me. Now that I am myself, I have possessed less of the unconscious, unasked for genius I had so often so indulgently before. Witness that terrible beauty, I must now lecture myself and let it go. And it's continued that I don't have the rest of it there. I'll have to fucking find that, won't I? Woo! You know? The drums by the sea thing, that was to do with, some hippies on Salt Spring. They were rude. I wanted to play with them, and they said I wasn't playing with them, and they were just not wanting to communicate. And I was just like trying to play scatter on them, and they were like just feeling really negative. I don't know. Hippies are often really negative. Yeah, this is Heraclitus, taken from, I guess, a book of Heidegger. There's not many fragments of Heraclitus. The church was very thorough in burning him and many other Greek philosophers. Why? Because paganism was a powerful intellectual force they had to eradicate in order to establish what became the church. I didn't want to get into damning everybody. The words I wanted to use. The one, which is wisdom alone, is willing and unwilling to be called by the name of Zeus, of life. There is only one wisdom, to know that insight which steers all through all. The thunderbolt steers all things. All things are exchanges for fire, and fire for all things, just as wares for gold, and gold for wares. All is one. From all one, and from one all. I really should get the complete set and just hope that some still stands up. I think I did, or the Pindar. I knew Pindar, owed for Pindar After Fire another day. I need to work it, so I'm going to read it again and get to know it, because I know I just see I edited it. But there's a nice little thing here. I'll do it right now. I said I was going to do. I saw it, and I said, okay, and then I start talking again right now. The fire of heaven, the fire in man, the fire that grasped a burning brand, singed raw meat and smote an eye, raised a fist, burned, and tore the sky. And the image is, the fight at the Open in 2001 where they're grabbing the bow and it flies into the sky, becomes the space station. Yeah, the transit of human history is all summed up in the fire in man. Yeah. My writings on classics and shit like that, I should do their own little set of things, I guess. And the Norse classics I have on here. There's some stuff on the Norse classics, you see. Aftermath. That's that again. Another version of. Now. New and more. The gray rain falls upon a faded world. Something stirs in the mists, and silver whips amass the stars. New and more, an old lay roars low underneath the green-blue carpet. New and more and nothing. Happenings in hiding. An unseen comet. Cannot scar the sky and train of fate, but one star falls. New and more. The gray rain falls upon a faded world. Something stirs in the mist, and silver whips past the stars. Oh, I could keep on going. Isn't this vain? Anyways. Another mask wrote out and done. Another role played out. The stage still littered with props. Images, symbols, evocations, effects. A few lights scattered here and there. The actor pauses after pouring out his heart to the empty galleries and the silent orchestra. Pauses, listening to the echoes fade away. A fond scene fondles a strewn image and turns and leaves the theater for his bath, to wash the grease paint mixed with grime and dust and smell left over from his last act, where he struggled out from underneath, up through the trapdoor, the final hatch from the labyrinth's underworld, opened by song, love left long behind, to find that he had missed his cue, and there were none to listen to his well-earned lines. The finale ended long ago, the stage forgotten, the futile actors given up the craft, his audience bored and stunned, stupid, having left even longer before. Without sadness, he muses brief upon the empty stage, reviews with canny eye. Now, the now pointless plot, the darkened theater, and steps away into the wings, the last lines dwindling away, the metaphor exhausted. His rhyme-twitched lips slowly turning into a smile that spreads across his face. He wipes away the grease, washes deep the wrinkles formed by task and toil and quest, sees the naked flesh, feels it tender, shy but needful of new guises, new parts, new things that lie yet undone, unbeing, wary of altered lines, missed signals, errant directions driven by a sexist, by a script. Oops. The limits of the stage, the stylizations of the mask. The water feels cool upon his face. Outside the day is hot, the wind's fresh, the clouds are high. The theater far and dark, in temple tomb, left in guileful city, far away. And that's actually a reference, partly, to me having been the stage manager, assistant to an arranger guy at Merge Poet Hall when it first opened. What we have here. Well, my throat's getting tired. I'm tempted to keep on going here. I'm just going to keep on going, so I'll save some. But that's been fun, and I was going to do, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll put the ones aside that I have done, and I hope that was enjoyable. I almost feel like looking up some more Yeats and stuff to finish it off, but God, this is an hour and a half, so I hope that was fun. I'm Mike Clevin with a C, and I'll be posting image versions of these with the things. And as I get the proper chance to do more better readings of certain ones and bring them to life more, some of that stuff also, but stuff you haven't heard yet, which I'm not a poet so much anymore as a songwriter, and I'm also like, never mind the mundane shit I have to deal with right now is taking care of this house, trying to get it set up. It's been a long week, a couple of weeks, let's put it that way. But yeah, well, it's all coming together. And even if I don't get the film project that I'm hoping happens, expecting to happen, I still have a great place to live. And I can work on all my stuff now, and I'm set up to do this. I do have a better camera, but this one's good for now. Well, why do I complain about camera? We never used to have these at all. Hell, we had telephones. Hey, Martha, who's on the party line? Oh, I don't know. You got to call him for the other one. Like how we used to do. Now you got through the phone systems. Around the camp, and someday you ring, you get the party line. They're on the phone. Now you got answering machines. People don't even talk to each other face to face anymore. It's hard on us old folks, eh? It is. I really would like to talk to people right now. Prove? No, I don't want anybody here bothering me. I just mean, people when they talk to each other, talk to me. It's hard for me doing the text thing and the little texting thing. I don't want this through text. I want the person. I want to talk to the person. Talking to text, you all kinds of things can happen. Misunderstanding can happen. People are short-tempered now. They cut you off right away. You just have to talk a little bit. Say, well, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Yeah. Well, Facebook and its divisiveness of human history is a story of human history and human folly. Now, I don't want to talk about the machine. I talk about it too much, but I fight as much as I can. Now, politically also. I'll probably do these politically. I'll get some things up and somehow have another camera going where I can show things while I'm talking, and you'll be able to hear me talk while I talk about what I see on the screen, other than holding my camera up in front of it. Anyways, see you later.